This is the book of Romans, chapter 8 and verse 24. For we are saved by hope, but hope that is seen is not hope. For what a man seeth, why doth he yet hope for? But if we hope for that we see not, then do we with patience wait for it. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to our apostles, our elders at Great Millstone, who teach and rule well. Peace and blessings unto the elect. Shalom. One thing about the ministry is learning to have an extreme amount of patience. Because ultimately we know that the Lord is going to put you through a lot of tests. And for the majority of those tests require a ton of patience. Okay, so let's jump into Sirach, the second chapter. Right, because Sirach, the second chapter, describes a lot of patience, especially when the Lord puts you at a low estate. Right, so this is Sirach, chapter 2 and verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Why? Because ultimately you're always going to be tried. You're always going to be tested. Because here it is, you're trying to do right, but the flesh wants to do what's wrong, and you're consistently always around the rebellion. You're always around people that are not in the truth. So these are temptations. Okay, even Apostle Paul said, "In my flesh dwelleth no good thing." So this is ultimately a thing of patience, a thing of suffering, and ultimately this is what the Lord wanted us to do. He wanted us to believe by faith. He wanted us to fight. Verse 2, set thy heart aright, which is your mind, and constantly endure, and make not haste in the time of trouble. Cleave unto him, and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. See, this is something that we hope for. Okay, we want to be increased at our last end. Verse 4, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. Right, because like I said earlier, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai has to test you. He has to put you through a certain amount of tests. Okay, and it's very interesting that I said that through the Spirit, because I forgot which one of the elders or apostles was basically saying it, but there's a scripture that says, prove thy friend first. Now, if you're a friend of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, you think he's not going to have to prove you? So everything that the Lord is putting you through is really to prove if you really are a friend of his, if you really are a joint heir of his. Because the whole point of the ministry, the gospel, is to suffer. And Yahweh Shai was a perfect example of that suffering, man. Look at all the things Yahweh Shai went through before he returned back to his Father for his glorified for his glorified estate. Okay, he had to suffer an excruciating amount of pain. Okay, so this is something that you're supposed to be preparing your mind for. Right, verse 5. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. So the fact that you're going through adversity is a good thing, Because remember, you have to be tried. You have to be tested. Right? Verse 6, believe in him and he will help thee. Order thy way aright and trust in him. Ye that fear Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, wait for his mercy and go not aside, lest he fall. Right? Which takes patience. Okay, because you can easily get offended. You can easily break. You can easily fall. And these are things that are going to come to your mind. But ultimately, if you're being patient and you fully believe, those thoughts are not going to overcome you. Verse 8, ye that fear the Lord, believe him, and your reward shall not fail. Ye that fear the Lord, hope for good, and for everlasting joy and mercy. Right? And this is why the scripture always keeps telling you fear, fear, fear. Because fearing gives you a great understanding, okay, of what the Lord is doing. Right? Verse 10. Look at the generations of old and see if there were any look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded, or did any abide in his fear, see, and was forsaken? So there's an understanding when you fear the Lord, when you fear Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? Right? I want to get a quick precept. Sirach, the 51st chapter, in verse 8. Then I thought upon thy mercy, O Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and upon thy acts of old. Right, which is why the scripture says the things that were written aforetime were written for our learning. Okay, so we're supposed to be going back in these scriptures to understand how the Lord delivered our forefathers out of certain situations. Because there's a scripture that tells you that the Lord basically knows you better than you do, and he's not going to put you through something that you can't handle. And that takes a great amount of patience to understand. That takes a great amount of faith to believe that. So this is something that we can go back in the scriptures and look to and understand that the Lord is not gonna, he's not gonna destroy us ultimately. It's all a lesson, it's all learning, it's all being patient. It's about suffering. So Sirach 51 and verse 8, then I thought upon thy mercy, O Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and upon thy acts of old, how thou deliverest such as wait for thee. Right, patience. And savest them out of the hands of the enemies. And this is what we're begging the Lord to do. Okay, the fact that we're waiting on the Lord, the fact that we're still in the hands of our enemies. Okay, our forefathers had the same exact mindset, man. Okay, so Sirach 2 in verse 11, for the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is full of compassion and mercy, long suffering, and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins and saveth in the time of affliction. Okay, and that's something that you have to believe. That's something that you have to have patience for. Verse 12, woe be to fearful hearts and faint hands, and the sinner that goeth two ways. Woe unto him that is faint-hearted, for he believeth not, therefore shall he not be defended. And when you really think about that scripture is basically telling you that you don't have any other option. when you think about that scripture, it's either you believe or you just don't believe. Right? Verse 14, woe unto you that have lost patience, and what will ye do when the Lord shall visit you? Right? Because if you lose patience in the ministry, that means that you don't believe in the Lord. That basically means that you're basically telling Yahweh Bashem Yahushai that he can't come through. you know? And if you're saying that now, where everything is calm, everything is cool, you know, prophecy is still kicking off, but what I mean by that is we're not even in Jacob's trouble yet. So what is your mindset going to be when Jacob's trouble comes, where things are really going to look hectic, right? So this is a part of keeping the Lord's patience. Okay, knowing that he can get you through certain things, because first of all, the Lord brought it upon you. So what makes you think that? So what makes you think that he can't get you through it? You see, so you're really fooling your own self, right? Verse 15, they that fear Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua will not disobey his word, and they that love him will keep his ways, right? And that's something that helps you through the ministry, learning to fear the Lord. Okay, and the scripture just told you that they will not, that they that fear the Lord will not disobey his word. See, so we're going to believe in all the volume of the book. Whatever the Lord puts you through, you're just going to take it on the chin, knowing that the Lord is going to deliver you from it. That's faith. That's having patience. Verse 16, they that fear Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai will seek that which is well pleasing unto him. They that love him shall be filled with the law. They that fear the Lord will prepare their hearts and humble their souls in his sight, saying, we will fall into the hands of the Lord and not into the hands of men. For as his majesty is, so is his mercy, right? So this is something that the Lord is going to exercise in your walk. When you're walking that straight and narrow path, it's patience, man. You know, and sometimes it'll look like there's no way out. But like I said earlier, if the Lord puts you in a situation, he can get you out of the situation, man. Okay, and our forefathers have been in many situations that are way worse than our situation, and he got them out of it. So how much more us in this time, and especially in the times that we're coming into. Okay, we're coming into the worst times on the planet Earth, and somehow, some way, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is gonna deliver us if we be of that number. Okay, there is gonna actually be a famine in the earth, and somehow, some way, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is gonna allow you to eat. He's gonna allow you to drink. You know, you're gonna be protected. So these are things that the Lord is exercising you to understand that he's always gonna be there, man, even in the times of Jacob's trouble. So patience is a key thing in the ministry, learning to suffer, learning to wait, you know, learning to be quiet, meek, humble. These are things that the Lord is showing you, putting you through, you know? And ultimately, that's a righteous sacrifice. So, Lord willing, you were edified. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rakak Wadash. Double honors to our apostles, our elders at Great Millstone, who teach and rule well, and peace and blessings unto the elect. Shalom.